In the dust-swept heartland of the American frontier, under a sweltering noonday sun, a quiet family prepares for supper. The home is modest but filled with warmth. A father offers a blessing, a mother serves food, and a young boy, Nat Love, smiles at the simple peace that surrounds him. But peace is a fragile thing in the West. A knock at the door shatters the stillness. Without warning, two men enter, towering, dark silhouettes against the sunlight, armed and merciless. The intruders are Rufus Buck and his deadly companion, Cortez. There's no trial, no negotiation. Buck sits at the family's dinner table, cool and calculated, while his presence alone paralyzes the room. Nat watches, wide-eyed, as Rufus Buck draws a pistol. With a brutal swiftness, Buck executes both of Nat's parents, his father first, then his mother, and turns his cold eyes to the boy. Instead of killing him, Buck leaves Nat with a cruel gift, a knife to the forehead, carving a deep cross into the child's flesh. Blood drips into Nat's eyes, not just marking him with trauma but branding him with purpose. In that instant, innocence dies. What's born is vengeance. Years pass. The boy with the scar becomes a man with a mission. Nat Love, now a formidable outlaw, rides the desert trails with righteous fury in his heart. Unlike many others in the unforgiving land of guns and gold, Nat doesn't rob the innocent, he hunts those who hurt others. His targets are men like the ones who destroyed his family. Killers, thieves, and abusers. Criminals who think they're beyond retribution. When we meet him again, Nat has tracked Cortez, the man who stood beside Rufus Buck during the massacre, to a dusty church. Dressed in a preacher's robes, Cortez hides behind a mask of salvation. But Nat, carrying a golden revolver etched with crosses, unveils the truth with a bullet. Cortez dies without ceremony, collapsing into his own blood beneath a stained glass window. Justice, for Nat, has begun. As Nat rides away, his face is stoic, but the fire in his eyes betrays his soul. One enemy down, one left to go, Rufus Buck. Meanwhile, across the West, a different story is unfolding. A U.S. military train chugs through a canyon, its cargo more dangerous than gold. Rufus Buck himself, shackled and caged like a wild beast. Soldiers guard him, their expressions a mix of fear and disdain, but they underestimate the reach of Buck's gang. A lone rider flags the train ahead. It's Trudy Smith, Buck's ruthless lieutenant, charming and composed. She stalls the guards with smooth words while Cherokee Bill, slick, silent, and lightning fast, boards the train from the shadows. What follows is a massacre. The soldiers fall one by one, unable to match the speed and precision of their attackers. When the dust settles, Rufus Buck stands free once more, his black coat billowing in the wind, his eyes calm but dangerous. His first act upon freedom? Remind the world why he was feared to begin with. Rufus Buck doesn't ride off into hiding. No, he returns to his old stronghold, Redwood City. Once a town built on violence but stabilized under his iron rule, Redwood has fallen into disarray under the stewardship of Wiley Esco, a greedy sheriff who seized power in Buck's absence. Buck doesn't negotiate. He walks straight into town with Trudy and Cherokee at his side. They confront Esco in broad daylight. What follows is swift and brutal. Esco is beaten and humiliated, his control obliterated by Buck's mere presence. Rufus Buck reclaims his throne without needing to fire a shot. But Buck's vision for Redwood isn't about power alone. It's about redemption, or at least his version of it. He tells the townspeople they must raise $50,000 to rebuild the town and pay debts. Refusal isn't an option. It's not a request. It's a demand backed by blood. To Buck, rebuilding Redwood is a way to control chaos through fear. But to others, especially Nat Love, it's another reason why Buck must be stopped, for good. Word of Buck's release travels fast. When Nat hears it, it's like a bullet to the chest. He thought his mission was over. Instead, the real challenge is just beginning. Nat doesn't hesitate. He starts assembling his crew. The sharpshooting, witty Bill Pickett and the brash, lightning-quick Jim Beckworth. Each man carries a unique skill and a long history with Nat, forged in blood and loyalty. They make their way to Douglastown, where Nat reunites with Mary Fields, a former lover and a saloon owner whose resolve is as sharp as her wit. Their relationship is complicated, built on shared pain and divergent paths, but Nat needs her. Mary agrees to help, bringing along her trusted bodyguard, Cuffy, a gender non-conforming warrior who's as tough as any gunslinger. But Nat can't move freely, not while the law watches. That's where Marshal Bass Reeves enters the picture. A legend in his own right, Reeves has chased Nat for years, yet respects his cause. Instead of arresting Nat, Reeves offers a deal: work together to bring down Buck, and perhaps both law and outlaw can find justice. The gang devises a plan. Mary volunteers to scout Redwood under the guise of purchasing Trudy's saloon. It's a bold move, and a dangerous one. As Mary enters Buck's domain, her confidence masks her apprehension, but Trudy Smith, ever perceptive, sees through the facade. Mary is captured and tortured, chained and bloodied. Word reaches Nat. Rage simmers beneath his calm exterior. He offers himself in exchange for Mary. Buck agrees, but not without conditions. He demands Nat rob a bank in Maysville, a town where black people aren't allowed. The message is clear: humiliation, danger, and a test of resolve. Nat and Cuffy travel to Maysville. The town is blindingly white, literally, painted in bleached tones and filled with hostility. But the robbery goes off with a strange civility. No blood is shed. Cuffy plays the role of a meek clerk, while Nat confronts the bank's manager with calm menace. They secure the money and more. Back in Redwood, Buck gets his funds, but that doesn't mean he keeps his word. Nat knows Buck won't rest, so he plans a deception. A wagon loaded with dynamite rolls into Redwood under the cover of night. As Buck and his men inspect it, a blinding explosion rips through the air. Chaos erupts. The gang charges in, guns blazing. In the battle that follows, alliances are tested, and heroes fall. Jim Beckworth, seeking glory, challenges Cherokee Bill to a quick-draw duel. But Bill, ever the coward in a hero's skin, shoots Beckworth mid-count, killing him before he can fire. It's a betrayal of the Cowboy code, a knife in the heart of honor. Bill Pickett dies in the firefight, holding his ground with unshakable courage. Trudy and Mary face off in a brutal, physical fight. No guns, just fists and rage. Mary emerges victorious but broken. Cherokee Bill meets his end at the hands of Cuffy, who proves that precision and determination matter more than speed. Amid the ruin of Redwood, Nat finally reaches Rufus Buck. What Nat expects is a duel. What he receives is revelation. Buck sits calmly, almost welcoming death. But before Nat pulls the trigger, Buck speaks. He tells the truth Nat never knew. Their father, the man Buck killed, was also Buck's father. Buck's mother was murdered by that same man, long before Nat was born. Buck's vengeance was a mirror of Nat's. He didn't kill for power, he killed to erase his own pain. And when he saw Nat as a child, he saw himself. That's why he didn't kill him, that's why he left the scar. It's a devastating truth. Nat's identity, his purpose, collapses. Killing Buck means killing his own blood. But in the end, he does it, slowly, with tears in his eyes. Not out of rage, but because Buck asks him to. Because the cycle must end. Redwood lies in ruins. The gang is decimated. Bill Pickett, Jim Beckworth, gone. Cherokee Bill, Trudy Smith, gone or missing. Nat and Mary bury their dead beneath simple markers. Among them is one that reads Nat Love. It's not a lie, it's a rebirth. The name dies so the man can live. With the law thinking he's dead, Nat rides into the horizon with Mary, seeking something beyond revenge. Behind them, Cuffy dons the badge of a deputy, riding beside Marshal Bass Reeves, two warriors of justice born in a lawless world. And from a distant ridge, a silhouette watches, a figure in a long coat, maybe Trudy, maybe fate itself. Because in the West, nothing ends quietly. The Harder They Fall isn't just a Western, it's a symphony of pain, power, and poetic vengeance. Its characters bleed purpose, its style is bold, and its message echoes, violence may build legacies, but only truth can end them. And in this land of dust and blood, the harder they fall, the harder they rise.